Hello, and welcome to this presentation on the Western Undergraduate Exchange, or WUE. First, I want to talk a little bit about who's presenting this today. We are RACC, or the Regional Admission Counselors of California. We comprise over 170 different professionals who are representing out-of-state institutions. We assist Californians with the process of really pursuing an out-of-state education. And today, what we're going to be helping with is understanding what WUE is. And now WUE, and that acronym might be used a lot. Again, it's for Western Undergraduate Exchange. It's a tuition discount program that's comprised of various Western states. It's been around for a while. It's one of the largest programs in the United States, and it allows 160 plus participating 2- and 4-year public institutions. So again, this is only for public schools, not privates, save students on their tuition price. As you can see, cited from the website, we've been saving over $400 million per year for students since 1987. It's really awesome. It's really phenomenal. And some of you might have heard something called the Good Neighbor program or things of that nature. WUE, for the most part, is going to be really taking over that type of phrasing. WUE comprises of all those universities from all these various states and territories. So you can see it's pretty vast, but do note that not every single public school in these states do participate. So it's definitely going to be worth it to look a little bit more into, what institution am I interested in? What does the WUE program actually look like? But this is to give you a good idea of the broad scope of just how vast WUE is. The discount is calculated off of the school's in-state tuition. So this is going to be an example of how a discount could be calculated. And there's various different ways that an institution could advertise their WUE savings or discounts. Some institutions may describe it as a scholarship. Some may be very specific in saying it's reduced tuition programs. So just note that that phrasing could be a little bit different per school. But if we're taking a look at this mock example, this is going off the idea that this institution's in-state tuition is $10,000. And so their out-of-state tuition is $25,000. And so you're paying essentially about $15,000 more to be an out-of-state student. But if we are taking that in-state price of $10,000 and we're multiplying 150%, or essentially 10,000 times 1.5, we're going to get that WUE tuition price of $15,000 per year. And so there's a few different ways that institutions might describe this. They may say that you are saving $10,000 on your out-of-state tuition, because if we compare $15,000 to $25,000, it's a $10,000 difference. Some schools may say you're only paying $5,000 more than in-state students. That's not very common, but just to give you an idea, you're not going to pay that full out-of-state price, but you are not going to be paying in-state tuition prices. And I do recognize that many institutions, especially the California students, may advertise that WUE rated tuition as the same price as in-state California resident tuition. So I know it can get really confusing. So we're taking a look at that. $15,000 in many instances, if you're comparing it to various UCs or CSUs, might not be too far off from what you're paying as an in-state Californian. But that's not the in-state price for this example university. Now, the big question is, that's a lot of money. I would love to save 150% of a school's in-state tuition. How can I make this happen? Now, the one thing about WUE is that each institution does it a little bit differently. So each institution is going to have their own unique eligibility requirements. That could be one of these combinations. It could be multitudes of them. It could be none of them too. So WUE in general does require a little bit more research on your end as a student and family to really better understand how each WUE school does it a bit differently. Some WUE institutions require a separate application for WUE. Some of them you just have to check a box on the application. There's going to be other institutions that don't require you to do anything additional. You just have to apply. And from there, maybe if you just are admitted, you're automatically evaluated. Maybe you have to meet a certain GPA or test score minimum. Maybe you have to apply by a certain deadline. Some institutions really only offer a certain number of WUE dollars per year. So it's really important that if you are eligible for WUE, that institution, you're applying in time to be offered that money. In addition, it might be limited to certain programs and majors. Not every institution offers the WUE discount for every single program on campus. So there may only be 2 or 3 where WUE is limited to. You might have to be a full-time student or maybe taking at least 12 credits, 15, whatever that's looking like at an institution. If you are a transfer student, your requirements might look a little bit different than freshman students. So these are just really important things to be thinking about. And I wish I could say that it's going to be very easy and simple, but again, every single WUE institution does do it a little bit differently. The next big question, so first, great, you've applied to that institution, that's a WUE school, and you're going to be offered WUE. Is there something you have to do in order to maintain that scholarship, those monies throughout your year as an undergraduate? So this is where it might be worth asking an admissions counselor, is there any unique requirements to maintain my eligibility? Now, for some students, this may mean, again, taking that credit minimum per semester. Do you have to reapply each year? That's not necessarily too common, but really good questions to be thinking about or potentially be asking. Do you have to graduate in a certain number of years? I know most for institutions, we're saying graduating in 4 years. If you take an additional 5th, 6th year for whatever reason, are you going to have WUE if you go beyond those 4? And again, really thinking about, do I have to have a certain GPA minimum throughout my undergrad career? Just, is there anything I have to do to make sure that I have that great discount for my entire time as an undergraduate? Really good questions to be thinking about. I do also get the question of, should I be maybe going towards residency at this institution or maintaining WUE? That's going to be a great question to ask your admissions counselor if you're interested in pursuing that in-state residency price at that institution. So the biggest thing that I would encourage you to take away from is that WUE is a phenomenal way to go outside of the state of California and save a lot of money. Again, in many instances, it can make the price of going out of state very comparable to what you may be paying a tuition in California. You do have to qualify. So again, doing your research and checking on the various different qualifications per school and what you may have to do in order to get that discount are going to be some things that you're going to be needing to research and ask questions about. And because the qualifications vary per institution, again, really looking on the institution's website, that's going to be the most up-to-date opportunity to understand what you need. And in doubt, ask your admissions counselor. That's why we are here. We're here to assist through that process and let you know that we're a real person on the end of your emails and text messages or calls, and here to assist you with that process. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of institutions in RACC that are part of WUE. I do encourage you to take a look at our website and explore. And all of us as admission counselors for out-of-state institutions are really happy to assist you with the college application process. Thanks and have a great rest of your day.